Hello, my name is Raymond Garchevsky, and I am a living Christ. Today I should like to clarify a few matters. I speak to you of the spiritual matters, and I talk to you from time to time about the political matters which are obstacles to the spiritual path. The political matters are all satanic, for they are founded in the dualistic, satanically ruled intellect, and nowhere else. I speak to you from the subconscious mind. I speak to you in a meditative state, a state of silence, of infinite silence, where all things are possible. That is the Christ state of consciousness that can only be acquired and sustained. Oh, every one of you have had fleeting moments called insights, split-second insights that take you out of your intellectual mind and you observe the truth. And you do so with what is known as awareness, spiritual awareness. Now that is where the kingdom of heaven lies, in being aware. Not being knowledgeable, for knowledgeable is intellectual, and knowledge gives you power to deal with the intellectual. But it keeps you in that satanic realm of dualism, and that is where you stay. And you find, according to your capacity for intellectual machinations, whether you are a leader or a follower, a believer, a slave. For that is what all persons, living, dead persons, not to be confused with a living man or woman. For such a living man or woman is the creator of their world, the God of their world. All of the theories that you have been conditioned with since you were born, which goes to the beginning of time and how men have enslaved other men, go to the fact of intellectualism and control, mind control, satanic mind control through the intellect. That is the nature of all, past and present, and projected into the future, civilized societies. What's a civilized society? Plain and simple. And when one speaks truth, one speaks simply. Complication occurs only with explanations that are dualistic in nature and therefore satanic, and they breed argument, debate, contradiction, conflict. That's the nature of all dualistic societies, and you can see it in your own world and your part in it, you see. Life as you know it is an illusion, your illusion based in concepts that have been conditioned into you and stored in your memory. They become your ego. The ego is nothing more than habitual behavior patterns that are solidified by repetition. And they are normally behaviors that feed your present intellectual perception of the world, and you're part of it. It determines whether you are a slave or a master of your life. Understand? But the actual master is one who has transcended the dualistic, conditioned, educated intellect. The intellect itself is a partial form of awareness, not awareness, belief. You see, awareness is only found in the subconscious mind, and one must transcend the dualistic intellect in order to come to the point of awareness, insight, truth. I have said many, many times, I have 500 videos on the computer that you're watching. They are the gospel of a living Christ. What does that mean? It means that they are the direct truth spoken to you in a video by this living Christ who follows no script. He's speaking to you from a state of meditation. Well, there are times when I do script what I'm speaking about, and that is because it deals with technical matters, political matters, matters where deception and cleverness and twisting and turning and manipulating letter of the word, which is the art of all Satanists, operate. You find them in politics. You find them in religion. Anytime anyone is telling you how to do something, they are manipulating you. If someone speaks to you of truth, their words are different. They have no intention to manipulate you, to direct you, to find an answer. You must find your own answer, but you must know where to look for that answer. That's what I do. That is the nature of my videos. And you can see that they are not welcome by the satanic powers that control your minds. I'm talking about the corporate structures of YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, and the other video producers, distributors. I'm pretty well blocked off by everyone. I'm still allowed to speak on YouTube and on Vimeo, but they manipulate the content. They control who sees my videos. I'm shadow banned to a great degree in all of my activities. So I have no idea who I'm reaching. And the information that is available to all clearly is altered. I have watched the numbers of my videos controlled and subscribers. The number that you see on Facebook is not accurate. The number of subscribers have been altered at least 8 or 9 times recycled from the number of 1,534 views to 1,553. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I have watched those numbers being recycled. So I've lost perhaps 60, 70 subscribers through such manipulation. But most of you are not even aware of that because you have no interest, or your interest is very slight in what is being said. There are some of you who take it very seriously, and those are the spiritual seekers who understand that this world that we live in is crazy. You can't argue that point. It's full of war, full of crime, full of narcotics and mood and intellectual altering drugs to the point that no one is balanced anymore. You're all believers. You have faith. Faith in what? You don't understand what you have faith in. You just believe it. You've been told fairy tales from the very beginning of your lifetime as children, and the quality has changed to some degree, but in essence it has not changed one iota. You're still believing fairy tales when you believe in a faith-based religion full of superstition, full of actions that are seemingly impossible and considered to be miraculous. You understand? When you start dealing with the miraculous, you're manipulating another person's mind. Person. Living men aren't duped. Understand? They lose their living status when they agree, they consent to become persons created by fictional governments and fictional religions. You see, the civilized life that you know is a fiction. It's not real. It's full of illusion. And you believe, you must believe in that illusion. That you are called upon to believe in that illusion. Because there is no call for another to believe in truth. Truth is what is. It stands on its own. It needs no explanation. It is what it is. So if you're believing, you're under mind control. Plain and simple. If you're an American, you're under mind control. If you're a Russian, mind control. If you're Chinese, mind control. These are all cultural influences that separate you, the living man, from other living men and women and make you into nationalists, believers, religious fanatics. That's not truth. That's the idea, the manipulated idea of truth that is fed you through conditioning, satanic conditioning, which is nothing more than hypnotic control. You mold, or your mind is molded by those who control you, the preachers, the priests, the politicians. Understand? All satanic. Why is it satanic? because it's dualistic. It's based on words, ideas, concepts, beliefs, superstitions. All those are reflections of the holistic energy of what is, which is truth, which is love. And that is only found when you are silent, standing alone in your non-dualistic subconscious mind. But you can't function in that realm, for you are thrown into the dualistic, satanic world of technical language, words, ideas, rules, regulations, standards. You understand? God's law, which is the only true law, and requires that you live non-dualistically, is do no harm, tell no lies. Can any of you do that? That's the test. See how long you can live telling the truth in a day, in an hour, in a minute, without contradictory thoughts creeping into your consciousness and you having to make a decision as to what you're going to say. If you're speaking truth, the what is, your mind is silence, and the truth will come out naturally. If you have to decide what to say, you're in your conscious intellect, your satanically ruled intellect, and you're confused. That is the energy of hell. That's your world, your civilized world, and no one can deny it. You will understand, or perhaps you won't. Perhaps your habit, your habitual reliance upon words, concepts, and standards and rules, called laws, which aren't law. Man's law is not law. Man's law is satanic. You understand? In the spiritual realm, it is satanic. It is hell. And the only way to transcend that living hell is to become quiet, to enter into a meditative state, and to be at one with truth, to speak truth, to live truth, to act in truth. It's love. All of you have experienced that momentary insight into love. That fuels the human state of being. And then the satanic intellect takes over, and it separates that true moment of love into the idea of love. And you are then forever trapped. That's the reason for your divorces, for your conflict. You see, when two become as one, which is the idea of marriage on earth, there's love. The male, the female, love. Look what's been done with that. Now you've got the homosexual agenda, the corruption, the abomination. You have people who are so unbalanced, and they consider that to be normal, that they recruit others. That's what's going on with your children. You are responsible for your children. And when you allow that kind of corruption to overtake their consciousness, you have condemned yourself to hell, eternal hell, and you will remain there forever until you come to a point where you understand that it's all an illusion, and you stop, and you enter into the non-dualistic realm of what is, based in the subconscious mind. And your life is transformed in that moment, but not before. Until that happens, you're in hell, and you will stay in hell with all of its pain, its suffering. Now, you're watching me. I'm speaking to you. Do I look unbalanced to you? You see, the perception, the ideas that you have of me is not me. Understand? That's your own conditioned intellect that is defining what you see. So, until you can drop that, you will not be able to see me for who and what I am. A living Christ, a threat to the satanic control of the intellectual world called civilized. Now, why haven't they destroyed me? They've been trying for 25 years and they haven't destroyed me. They tried to put me away in prison for 40 years, and I merely refused to accept the court's sentence, and they set me free. Why? Because the courts are satanic. But you believe that everything is opposite to you and upside down, backwards. That's your state of confusion. That's your hell. And you've been conditioned into it. I'll not argue the point. You see, you can only argue the words, the definitions that one holds, but they aren't truth, and they have no effect upon truth. You will notice that the world that you live in is full of power, of harm, collective harm. Your political leaders are all Satanists, for they deal with the intellect. And they confuse you into believing that the illusion of their letter of the words are mistaken for truth. I am truth. The proof of that is they can't destroy me. They can't set me up by manipulating my words, even though they try. But you can see for the past 25 years, it'll all come back to them. Whatever attempt they had to destroy or discredit this living Christ has come back to haunt them until they flee. They lick their wounds. And they come back under new labels, ideas, identities. That's the corruption of the intellect. Hide behind masks. Cannot stand alone in spirit and let the satanic world take its way with this living Christ, and yet it does not take. It sets them reeling. So what has happened with me now? They ignore me. Look at the numbers of my videos, the double-digit numbers. Pick any video of mine, and see if they merit that kind of number of worldwide audience. That is the fear of these Satanists, to control the counters, the means of communication. They cannot destroy me. They've tried that, and they have failed, and so now they must ignore me. President Trump is ignoring me. Since his inauguration, I have sent him a criminal package, a complaint of crimes committed against this living Christ by the state of Oregon, the county of Josephine, and the federal government and its disinformation teams that control the minds of computer-using men and women who have been made to doubt themselves and call themselves persons. It's a living dead entity. They lose their status as living men and women, and therefore they enter into the living dead. So they belong to the property, as property, to the fictitious government that created them. Government created persons, living men and women have created government. So government is their servant. They're your servant if you are living and not sold your soul for personage. They won't argue with me at that level because they understand they can't. They have no power over this Christ. That's why they turned about on their 40-year threat to put me into prison when I merely rejected their phony verdict of their person, the non-living person, because they have no jurisdiction over this living man, and that is the truth. But what I have done, so can you, when you come to your rightful position of understanding who you are, and that is a living man or a woman. When you come to that point, they have no jurisdiction over you either. You must consent to belong, to serve as their slave person. That's called a citizen. That's how they have power over you. That's how they can put you into the army, send you off into the world, and order you to kill or be killed. It's all fictional. It's a fictional world that you live in, and you believe it to be real. And to you, it may be real, but it's not true. That's the fact. So that is the barrier that you and I experience when I speak to you in these videos. And if you really want to understand who you truly are, answer the question of who am I and what is my purpose for being here on this earth at this time. Those are fundamental questions, and only you can answer them. That's the point. Look at how impotent the government is in destroying this living Christ to the point that they must ignore me They must not even allow you to understand that I exist. But as you can see on this video, I exist. This is not some actor speaking to you. This is a living Christ, a simple man of truth. Get that through your thick skulls. What I have done, so can you. Because if you return to your living man or woman status, the satanic government or religion or banks or corporations have no jurisdiction over you. I have proven that. It's up to you to understand that what I am saying to you is truth.